Alejandro Garnacho has broken his silence on social media after being substituted in the first half for Manchester United's 3-2 win over Ipswich. After the game, Garnacho posted this on his Instagram story, symbolising that he was upset and frustrated that he got taken off. I'm not going to lie, I'm one of Garnacho's biggest hater, but he should have not got taken off yesterday. It should have been this Dolph Ziggler fraud. And after the game, Ruben Amorim was asked what was the reason to why he took off Garnacho in the first half. And he responded by saying this. The thinking was that we were playing more in a 5-3-1. I know it's a risk because you are taking the only player who has 1v1 and pace. But I felt like the team was okay and in control of the game. We had to take someone off. And we also had to think about set pieces. You know what I find funny? No one's talking about how Garnacho stormed down the tunnel. When Xerxes did it, when the fans booed him off, everyone was saying, oh, he shouldn't do it, but as soon as Garnacho does it, no one says anything.
Garnacho doesn't help himself, does he? He posted this on his Instagram story straight after the game last night, sulking effectively at the fact that he got substituted before half-time. You just think, imagine you're sat in a changing room, all of your teammates probably buzzing at the fact that they've managed to salvage a win from that game, grafted for 10 men in that second half, and you're just sat there thinking about how it's all about you and you're sad because you got subbed before half-time. And no one wants to be that guy, right? No one wants to be the guy that gets hooked because you're down to 10 men and you're bringing on a defender. But it's got to be one of the attackers. They went with Højlund and Xerxes staying on so that they had a bit of an outlet. It is what it is. It's part of the game. And Amorim said he's going to speak to Garnacho about the fact that he also walked straight down the tunnel when he got substituted. Now, kind of in his defence, he did signal to the bench that he was going to go and change his shirt. Could he have waited 2 minutes until half-time so that he didn't kind of make that statement, walk down the touchline? Maybe. I don't think that's a big thing. But I do just think this type of mentality, where it's so much more about him than it is about the team, it needs to be weeded out of that United team. And yes, he's a talented player, but if you're trying to rebuild in the way that United are going to have to do, where they're not going to be able to bring in the best talent around the world, a lot of what they need to build on is going to be personality. And I just think he's the type of player that doesn't have it.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hit the subscription button. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for watching this again. So guys, today I want to react to this story of Alejandro Garnacho yesterday walking out when Manchester United was playing against Ipswich. Manchester United was playing a good game. I don't know what happened with Onana. I don't know what happened with the dorgu, etc. And dorgu received a red card. And then Alejandro Garnacho was the player who was sacrificed to go out so that Manchester United can bring in another defender who was Mazraoui. And Alejandro Garnacho felt bad about this one. And you know what he did? He just walked out of the tunnel. So Alejandro Garnacho, instead of sitting down on the stands and watching the game with the other substitute players, he decided to go out and go into the changing room. So Alejandro Garnacho was just trying to send a message to Ruben Amorim, and in short, he was pissed off because Alejandro Garnacho wasn't expecting to be subbed off in that game. And I think, real quick, let me give out my 2 cents about this one. I think it wasn't a right thing for Ruben Amorim to sub off Alejandro Garnacho in that game. But I think, again, it wasn't good for Alejandro Garnacho to walk off in that game before the 90-minute whistle. Because this just portrayed the picture of a stupid player. Because how can you start? You know the one thing with Alejandro Garnacho is that Alejandro Garnacho always thinks that he is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think that's the reason why Alejandro Garnacho won't make it as a good player at Manchester United. Alejandro Garnacho is good. He's still young. Still have a lot to do. He still have a lot to give out for the game. But I feel like one thing that really spoils Alejandro Garnacho's game is Cristiano Ronaldo's mentality. Alejandro Garnacho always wants to be Cristiano Ronaldo. And I've always said this, for these young players, the likes of Lamine Yamal, the likes of Alejandro Garnacho, it's good to have a role model, but it's never good to try and be your role model. You can't be someone else. You can only be the best version of yourself. The only thing that's going to make Alejandro Garnacho flop in his football career, and Alejandro Garnacho, I feel like Manchester United had like some talent more than Alejandro Garnacho. Look at the likes of Adnan Januzaj. Look at the likes of look at the likes of Greenwood. Greenwood was good. Januzaj was good. And I think, real talk, Alejandro Garnacho don't even match a single standard of prime Adnan Januzaj at Manchester United. Adnan Januzaj was good. Yesterday, Manchester United had a red card, and they were to sacrifice one player. Of course, I said that Ruben Amorim made a mistake of subbing off Alejandro Garnacho, because yesterday, before that red card, Alejandro Garnacho was one of the best players in the pitch. But sometimes I don't know. I don't know how Ruben Amorim like sits down and decides, no, this is what I want to do next. Because I feel like if there was one player who was really flopping in that match, was Rasmus Højlund. I really expected him to sub off Rasmus Højlund in that game, but instead he decided to sub off Alejandro Garnacho. And I feel like one thing that's making Alejandro Garnacho really furious is that I think Alejandro Garnacho is still, he wants to move like Cristiano Ronaldo. And on another point, he sees young players. Alejandro Garnacho is even older than Lamine Yamal. He sees young players like Lamine Yamal. He sees young players like Henrik scoring for Real Madrid, and maybe he wants to compare himself with the likes of Henriks and Lamine Yamals of this world. And that's what killing Alejandro Garnacho's game. Another thing that will kill Alejandro Garnacho's football career is comparing himself to Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is another version of himself, and I don't think nobody can match like the standards of Cristiano Ronaldo. You can only read the histories of Cristiano Ronaldo, but you can never try to match the standards of Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo played at Manchester United when back in 2008. He was, I can say, the same age like Alejandro Garnacho, and I think that's the real pressure that's getting into Alejandro Garnacho. He wants to make it at Manchester United at the same age Cristiano Ronaldo made it at Manchester United. And Alejandro Garnacho came from Manchester United academy. Ronaldo came from Sporting Lisbon. So those are two different things. Cristiano Ronaldo, when he was coming to Manchester United, he already knew like Manchester United board and Sir Alex Ferguson already knew like whatever we are bringing into the club. But for Alejandro Garnacho, Alejandro Garnacho is like Marcus Rashford. He just came into academy, scored a couple of goals, shined a bit, and the club decided, you know what, we have to bring this youngster into the real game, into the real men's game. And that's the difference of Cristiano Ronaldo when he was playing for Manchester United and Alejandro Garnacho. Another thing, Ruben Amorim made a mistake, because I felt like I don't know what's wrong with Rasmus Højlund. I felt like he needs to sub off Marcus. I felt like he needs to sub off Rasmus Højlund, because Rasmus Højlund wasn't doing anything, and even at some point in the game, Delete was furious with him because he was really tired in that game. At a point that the opponent was just passing with the ball in front of him, and he wasn't even doing anything. He wasn't chasing the ball. He wasn't doing anything. I feel like both Alejandro Garnacho and Ruben Amorim did a mistake, but then Alejandro Garnacho made it more worse by walking out of the tunnel. He didn't supposed to do that. Yes, he was subbed off because Dorgu received a red card, which a lot of people felt it's not a red card. I don't know, these people who are feeling like Patrick Dorgu's red card wasn't a red card. I don't know what you need. You needed Patrick Dorgu to maybe use a gun on the field so that you can believe it was a red card. And I think for the longest time in the Premier League and the VR, that was the clearest red card I've ever seen. And I was even wondering what was VR checking, because that was a clear red card. So after that, Alejandro Garnacho was subbed off, and he felt like, I don't need to be subbed off, because I want to make history like Cristiano Ronaldo. I want to win the Ballon d'Or with Manchester United. And I feel like Alejandro Garnacho still has a long way to go. And Ruben Amorim said that he will address that matter of Alejandro Garnacho. I know. If there is one thing I know with Ruben Amorim is that one coach who don't let any player be on top of him. Marcus Rashford tried to be on top of him, he eliminated him. Ruben Amorim has ego. Marcus Rashford also brought in ego, and that's one big reason that made Ruben Amorim and Marcus Rashford not work together. And one thing that's going to make Alejandro Garnacho flop is still Alejandro Garnacho thinks that he can't. It's idolizing Cristiano Ronaldo too much. It's good. I always see like players like Vinny Jr. and Kylian Mbappe idolizing Cristiano Ronaldo. But they never try to do whatever Cristiano Ronaldo did. You see the likes of Alejandro Garnacho always tries to imitate anything that Cristiano Ronaldo have ever done in this world. Even this Cristiano Ronaldo celebration and stuff. So guys, tell us what you think about Alejandro Garnacho and Ruben Amorim in the comment section. Tell us who you think was wrong. According to me, I think that Alejandro Garnacho really overreacted to this. But tell us what you think in the comment section. And the last thing, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you on the next one.